Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to my next edition in progress video. In this one I'll basically go over everything that has happened between the last video and now, what I'm doing now, and what my current mindset is, and what my future plans are since I have quite a bit of that. I'll also touch upon a few other topics such as AHK, Omnia, and Polyphasic sleep. So, I think we left off at last video. I was just about to finish fire making, and I was basically asking in the video, what do you guys think I should do for my next goal? Should I go do the fast XP route, or should I do some slower skills? And I basically decided I wanted to do cooking straight afterwards. I basically wanted to pick the fast XP route, and that's basically what I'm doing. So I started doing cooking. I did 1 tick ram ones. I don't have any video footage of me doing that, unfortunately, which would have been a little more entertaining to watch than just me doing wines. But I did Karam ones for about a week and a bit, and I had used a AHK script that was kind of different to what everyone else did. I kind of used like less sketchy AHK than everybody else. I use a script that would basically move my mouse like from here to here. That was basically horizontal movements only, apart from the banking, which would just be a vertical movement. And so I didn't use any diagonals at all. And I know that like before, like a lot of the people that did use diagonals used them because it was necessary. Otherwise, you couldn't really do one-to-ground ones because like before zoom and resizable, it just wasn't possible to actually place the fire right between your inventory and chat box. But yeah, I figured I'd do that just to kind of reduce the risk of getting banned if there was any. And I mean, like most of you guys already know that it wasn't the case, of course. Yeah, after a week and a bit, I got banned. Well, what happened was basically AHK was banned, and then the day afterwards, I was banned for what I believe to be just posting a GIF on Twitter of what I was doing before the ban, and them banning my account because of it for 2 weeks. So I was banned for 2 weeks, and what I did during those 2 weeks were just casually playing. Well, I guess I could say casually playing on my alt. So rune crafting was mainly just rune crafting. I ended up getting up to 82 rune crafting by the time I got banned, which allowed me to do double astrals. When I got unbanned, I went straight to winemaking. So I sold all my Karam 1 supplies, which were banked for Tunamal, and I just banked, not for Tunamal, it was actually for 175 mil cooking. And I banked 175 mil cooking in wines instead, and I've been doing that. And I played on my alt for most of cooking. I did rune crafting like with astrals, and it was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed playing on the other account, and it was sort of like a double progress sort of mindset. And then I got a little bit bored of it. I ended up getting 89 rune crafting, and then I stopped rune crafting. I started doing other methods for Runescape, such as like shop and a few other things I tried out, like flipping. So yeah, now I'm at 167 mil, so I'm about 15 to 16 hours away from finishing my cooking goal, which was 175 mil. And then yeah, so right now I am currently I'll talk about that later on. I'll talk about AHK later on. So what my future plans are is once I finish cooking, I'm gonna go straight to crafting. I'm pretty sure I can do crafting straight. I don't think I have to worry about doing any other skills because of like how expensive crafting may be. I think I've got that covered pretty much financially. And then I'll probably end up doing herb lore, smithing, and either con or prayer. And I'd like to do those 2 skills straight, but I might have to take a break after either one of those and do some like agility or something to make money on my alt, enough money to finish the other one. Because I basically just want to get rid of those skills like as quickly as I can because of how expensive they just keep getting. And that's the reason why I didn't want to do a slow skill, because I was just afraid of how much the Bibles will cost in like 2 years from now. It's kind of scary to think about, like what could construction and prayer actually be at that point, and even crafting, I guess. Herblore could also increase as well. Also, like a reason why I'm doing Herblore, and that's actually part of my goal set now, is because anti-venoms are now not even possible to manually do anymore. They're basically fixed to a 4-tick cycle, so you can't do your manual anti-venoms like 2 or 3 times per tick, which was essentially like 600k plus per hour depending on how fast you were. So yeah, I AFK Herblore now, and which kind of sucks because I enjoyed the way Herblore was with its click intensive aspect, even though I kind of quote unquote cheated for my Herblore XP, even though like what I was doing was 1-to-1, which I'll touch up on later on. So yeah, those are my future plans. I guess I'll talk about AHK now. So the AHK ban, which happened, I think it was January 25th, because I did get banned on January 26th. I remember that date. And that ban stated that they are basically going to take action on anybody that are going to use AHK from now on. And they will allow like Windows Mousekeys, but they won't allow stuff like OS Buddy Mousekeys, even though they're the same thing, but they don't make that program, so they can't like guarantee its reliability. So, and they also stated that they wouldn't ban, actually it wasn't in the statement that they stated, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Mod Matt K did say in the live stream the day after that they won't be banning people who used AHK in the past. So that right there should mean that I should have been safe from a ban, but I guess not, and I'm not gonna like hold them against that, because technically AHK was always bannable, and what I was doing was acceptable grounds for a ban, even though they said they wouldn't ban people in the past. That doesn't mean that using AHK beforehand wasn't already like sketchy in the first place. So yeah, to all the people who thought that I botted, that I was using a bot, all those people don't even know like how 1-tick run-ons even work, and that like the timing looks like it's perfect because it pretty much has to be perfect. Like you can't really be lazy with like pressing those 6 keys. You have to be really on point with your timing, and it has to be precise, and I'm talking like really precise. You can't, like, the GIF does not do it justice. So yeah, that's what I have to say to all the people who thought I botted. And yes, the only script that I believe was considered botting was a script that I used on a throwaway account to make the shop easier for me and my friends to do, because of what some pissed off Albanian remote trader was doing to the shop because he got banned. And that's the only reason why I use anything above 1-to-1, apart from in the past I did use 1-to-1, like the last skilling cup I used 1-to-3 AHK, and my reasoning for that was just basically because I didn't want the clan to become disqualified, because what happened was during one of my hours I accidentally used an XP book, not knowing that would get me disqualified. I used like an XP book from the random event at the school. I was like, oh well, I spent time doing this. I'm sure Jagex would be able to like tell that I did not like stock that XP lamp before the hour, but obviously that's not the case, and most of my clan members clarified that for me. So I was like, well, that was a pretty good hour that I did. So like to top that in like one night, I wasn't really confident in being able to do that. So instead of like just letting the clan become disqualified, I decided to use 1 to 3 AHK for the hour and improve it by 1000 XP, which didn't even matter anyway because we lost that week to Hexus. So that's why I used 1 to 3 AHK there, and I don't ever want to use it in the future. What I'm using right now is literally the most simplest form of AHK you could possibly imagine. It's just drop downs, and I don't want to like use anything that might like make the JMods think that I'm botting, such as Chrome ones, which to be honest, like I'll give them that. Like it looks like I'm botting from what I'm doing. Like the key presses are so precise, and it's very consistent. Pretty much like once I hit like maybe like 75 mil cooking, like I was basically getting like 900k plus hours at 1 tick run, like doing 1 tick run ones consistently, which if for any of you who actually know like how hard I want 900k hours to do in the first place would understand like how precise and consistent my key presses were at that point. So which would just make it look more like a bot at that point. So I was basically realized like, okay, so since I'm like good at 1 tick round ones, I should not do that because I'll probably get banned because it looks like I'm botting. So that's why I decided to do wines, and yeah, I just use AHK because like if I get banned for what I'm using right now, then I kind of just don't want to play the game. I would use Mousekeys, but it's just inconvenient on the other, like I would rather just not use it and use my mouse. Actually, that's what I did for the 2 weeks after I got unbanned. I was using my mouse only, and it basically just got to the point where like it just became like a certain banking speed that was muscle memory, and I kind of like thought about it for a second, and like I'm crossing my hand over my keyboard, which is really like, it's a laptop keyboard, so it's really hot all the time, and my arm is basically like, it's not burning, but it's just kind of uncomfortable from the heat produced by the keyboard. And like I have it hovered over the other side because I have to use my like F keys to switch between like because I was rune crafting, so I'd switch between a magic tab and my inventory, and I'd press escape to close the bank. Obviously when I'm banking, I don't think that is illegal. It's part of their like in-game built-in F keys anyway. And yeah, I just realized how uncomfortable this was, and I was like, it just kind of made me think like, why would the simplest form of AHK, just replicating what is allowed, like be bannable? And I just kind of like realized this and just started using AHK like just like pretty much the same way you'd use Mousekeys, minus like the right click, which even the JMods said that you can map, like the only thing you can't do with AHK is to make it like a mouse movement, which is kind of funny because you can make the exact same mouse movement with a that a mouse like he would use, such as like the 36 or 72 or whatever, and like you can map a left click, you can map a right click to like use an AHK, so you don't even have to do like the like what people do with Mousekeys, so they like would right click and then press the 2 buttons to move the mouse down and click. You can just map right click to your keyboard. So then I just kind of decided, no, I'll just use AHK because it's a lot more convenient. I don't have to worry about like pressing a keyboard shortcut every time I like use Google. Like I can just navigate the internet a lot more conveniently with AHK and not have to worry about like all the hindrances of Mousekeys. And yeah, I guess I should also touch upon shift clicking too. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video I talked about this. The shift clicking mechanic that they added probably about 2 weeks ago, I think around 2 weeks ago. I actually like it. It makes sense that they want to like produce like features and make content that doesn't encourage the use of AHK, which I believe is like the right step forward in this situation. Because I agree that they can't really set guidelines with AHK because you can mimic those guidelines with illegal AHK. And I'm for what like the direction they want to go with this whole situation. And shift clicking, like, yeah, it is kind of overpowered for some things, but it's like for dropping a full inventory, it isn't really that much better than just using AHK. It is slightly better, and it's probably a lot better if you're like really good at clicking. But like for the average person, it's not that much of a difference. For things like two-tick woodcutting and for some people granite mining, like it is definitely a buff and makes those skills a little more consistent. But I mean, it's a byproduct of like the direction they want to put the game into with this whole integrity issue with AHK, which I am definitely for. So I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about that topic. Now, recently, a new clan has come up, Omnia, and this clan has slightly higher recs than Solace, but slightly lower recs than Hexus, so it's like an in-between sort of clan. And for every like third clan that's come up, that has like kind of like fallen, like for example Requiem, Osius, Nebula, all those three clans had requirements that were lower than Solace and Hexus, and they have fallen. And this one seems to have a more of a middle ground, which I like, because I always wanted Solace to sort of be the clan that you'd go to as like an aspiring skiller, rather than an already like seasoned player that has already been efficient that would obviously move to Hexus. Solace kind of caters to the person that wants to be efficient but isn't like quite at the top of the high scores yet, and it still is that kind of clan. And Omnia is sort of like a step forward to going to Hexus, and I almost see it as sort of like a choice between Hexus and a choice now. Like, you can make the choice between Hexus and Omnia, because like the people in the players in Omnia are pretty high up there as well. Like, they have quite a few top page players similar to Hexus. They just don't have the giant database that like Hexus does with like over 100 members. But I see them slowly building that up in the future, and it's also like, it looks like a solid clan as well. It's a solid group of friends that have been like close for quite a while now. I know it's like kind of a meme that these people are all shoppers, but I'm pretty sure that will it'll become a little more diverse in the coming months, I think. It's just that the people that created the clan and left the current clans for it were all pretty much close friends who did Cram to Store. But I think that will change slowly in the future. Yeah, so I'm all for having a third clan, rather than just a simple Hexus and Solace two clans. That like I'm all for having a third clan in terms of competition. It'd be nice, like if I don't think we'll ever see a Skilling Cup again, to be honest, but if it ever happened again, it would be a lot more hype than what the previous Skilling Cups were, with just being like Hexus and Solace being the main competition, which is nice. I like it. I only lost like, I think Solace only lost like 3 members because of it, maybe 4, I'm not sure. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was polyphasic sleep. Now, recently I have been attempting. Actually, I'll go back a little bit. So, like, I think it was after I finished mining, I kind of like did a little bit of research on sleep and like found this website called Polyphasic Society. And basically, it's quite. I'm gonna link in the description. It's quite interesting. Basically, like, it made me realize that like sleeping polyphasically, which is basically just means sleeping multiple times a day rather than just the usual sleep straight like 6 or 7 hours or 8 or whatever people sleep like during the night and then waking up in the morning and being awake for like 15 hours or something like that. It's a little different, and it's pretty interesting, like the effects it can have on your health. Like, they're not bad effects. They're actually like, there are some like positive effects it can have on like hormonal like secretion and stuff like that. And obviously the main benefit is just reducing the amount of hours that you are asleep during the day, which for RuneScape, this is actually a little bit of an advantage, I'd say. So after doing a lot of research on it, I decided to try like a schedule about like 3 months ago-ish, where I would basically sleep for 3 hours at night, early night, and then be awake and then I'd sleep for another 3 hours like in the morning, so I'd kind of be awake in between that period. So there was like a late night sort of period that I'd be awake, and I would like it was the intention wasn't to like reduce my sleep. It was like to basically kind of try out polyphasic sleep and like see what the fuss is about, and like see if it actually like changes like anything. And I noticed that like the schedule that I picked was like a little more difficult, and I wasn't able to adapt to it, and I actually got sick because of it. So I decided to like not really like think about polyphasic sleep for a bit. And I recently, like a month ago, like did a little more research and like figured out that like I could probably, like with my timetable at school and everything, figure out a schedule that works for me. And I found a schedule that basically allows me to sleep 3 times a day, every 8 hours for 90 minutes. And like most of you guys would think like, okay, that's only 4.5 hours. You're not gonna get enough sleep. You're gonna get tired, and yeah. So the reason why this actually works, and I have been doing it for about 2.5 weeks. I'm not doing it like perfectly. Like I do like oversleep like an extra like 90 minutes during like a nap or something like that. Like occasionally, like maybe every 3 or 4 days, because I'm still kind of in the adaptation period, and I still need alarms to wake me up. But I do feel like wide awake. I haven't like really felt fatigue in like over a week, and like I've been consistently sleeping on average like maybe 4.5 to 5.5 hours per night for a whole week, which is like something that I've never been able to do like with just um like straight sleep at night. But I mean, of course I did it like for my mining week, but that was just because I had to push myself through it. I don't have the feeling of pushing myself through this like I did with mining. It's not really like a struggle in that sense. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Like going to sleep every 8 hours is something that like I've never done in my life before, and it's yeah, like it dreaming like every 8 hours is something that's kind of actually really neat, because like I usually just kind of associate dreams with just like nighttime sleeping, but now I kind of like think about it like during the day. I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait to like have like a dream in the next 3 hours, like, and then I wake up and then have that same like feeling again 8 hours from like 8 hours from then. Um, and also like there are like there's a little bit of science behind it too. Like it sort of changes like your hormones in a way, because you like it does make sense because you're sleeping more often, you're sleeping a little bit less, like so your hormonal secretion is a little bit different. I don't know the exact ones that like it really affects, but like in general it does change your body chemistry a bit, which is like something that I've kind of felt a bit, and like especially with like a schedule that I did before I tried this what I would call a triphasic schedule. I would do like a nap in the afternoon, which would be like a siesta schedule or a biphasic schedule. And I did notice that like I felt a lot more relaxed and focused in some aspects of life, such as studying and just talking to people in general. Made me feel a little more relaxed rather than just stressed on thinking about what I'm going to say to people all the time. And I definitely like the feeling that it's given me, and also like knowing that I have just a little bit more extra time during the day to do other things or get more XP in RuneScape, which I have been able to maintain like anywhere between 70 to 90 hours a week for the past few weeks, which is something that I probably wouldn't been able to do on just a normal sleep pattern with my schedule. I do spend quite a bit of time studying for university and exams and whatnot, and going to the gym and just doing everyday regular stuff. So it's nice that I'm actually sort of able to put myself up on the RuneScape ranks, like progress in real life reasonably, and also like enjoy myself at the same time. It's like it provides a sort of balance, I guess. If you're able to like manage like a sleep schedule like that with the timetable that you have, it works wonders. Once the adaptation phase for like some schedules are a little difficult. This one's a little bit easier than what I'm doing, which may be like a big reason as to why I'm still able to do it. But I'm gonna like put it in the description if you guys want to like check it out and maybe see like if there's something that might work for you, or if you want to actually just try out polyphasic sleep in general. I'll leave it in the description. It's a nice read. It's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of articles on it. But there's sort of like sections like schedules, like, and there's like sections that like talk about the science behind polyphasic sleep, and sections that talk about like how to adapt and like how to improve your sleep quality in general, because it's not just about polyphasic sleep, but it's also about improving your sleep quality and your quality of life and nutrition and all that stuff. And it's a little interesting. I would give it a read if you're interested in that kind of like stuff about like optimizing your body and health and everything like that. So I'll just leave it at that. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment. Um, yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna make the next video. This one was a little, like the gap between this video was and the last video was quite high. That's not something I was aiming for. I had aimed to make a video around 100 mil cooking when I was doing 1-tick ones. I completely forgot about that because of the ban situation. Um, I'll try to make a video at some point before, like maybe if I hit like 100 mil crafting or something like that, if I keep up with my future goals and my playstyle, I might make a video around there. But no promises, of course, because this could happen again. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.